What's up, YouTube? It's your boy DR2727. Shout out to my Transformers collectors, 1/12 scale collector, whatever you collect, shout out to you. And this month's video for January 2025 is our annual Transformers rundown. And that's where we count down all the figures I bought in the previous year. My worst figure for 2025 is Magic Squares Bruticus. This thing sucks. I think people give it a pass because it hits all the tune aesthetics and gives you the tune tickles. But the combined mode is pure trash. Vortex doesn't stay on. Swindle doesn't stay on. They didn't give you a gun. The deco everybody wanted, they're selling it as a secondary cost instead of giving it to people. When x-transbots did that, people ripped x-transbots a new one when they did that. But people let Magic Square slide. Like, their business practices are shitty for this. Pardon my French. The business practices suck for a combiner that doesn't even perform. Like, this is by far the worst thing I bought in 2025. If you in this MP Bayverse game, then you know Unique Toys is like the fans' toys. They are the standard of this game. But they have a formula that normally works, and it's basically it takes everything, explodes it, and then turns it inside out, and then you get the alternative mode, whether that's the bot or the alt mode. And that formula normally works, but when it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and it doesn't work with this. And this is the most disappointing figure I had this year. And it's disappointing because this version of the figure was the figure of the year last year. It didn't work with this figure. The alt mode is gorgeous. The bot mode is cool. It's just getting from the alt mode to the bot mode and vice versa. Normally it's kind of interesting and fun with Unique Toys. This time it wasn't. Plus several build issues. Like, this just wasn't what Unique Toys normally brings to the table. Sculpt perfect, paint perfect. Both of those are MP level quality. But what holds this figure back is the actual action figure part of it. This is 3-0 MDLX Transformers 1 RC. And for non-transforming Transformers figures, they should push the boundaries for the action figure part of it. And I feel like this, it looks great, but you can't get in all the poses you want to. And also, for Boog Knight said this, Boog ACBA, like, for faces and hands, make the action figure. And they didn't give you any extra faces. And the hands leave a lot to be desired. But overall, it's a good figure. If they would have gave better hands, this would have pushed it to a next level. Maybe this is a good sign for the list in general, because this isn't a bad figure. It's just a figure with x-transbots cheaped out. And primarily with the deco, because everything you see that's not white and black paint is basically water slide stickers. And x-transbots should have just charged more money and did tampos. But this set kind of feels a little less than normal MP. But it's not bad, and it's not setting the world on fire. You know what it is? It's fine. I very rarely mention price on this channel, but this figure was on sale at TIA Source for like $18, $20. And of course it's worth more than that, but this figure is two things: decent and dated. I mean, it gives you everything you want in an MP figure, but it's very dated from kind of like how it gives it to you. But for $20, there's nothing really to complain about. I know I'm in the minority. I actually like this figure, and I think that this is a hard character to do. And I think this figure is basic and simple. But I think the question I have to ask myself is, do I want basic and simple for my MP figures, especially my Fans Toys MP figures? I wish they would have sprinkled some of that Fans Toys sauce on this, because it desperately needs it. I call Fans Toys Scavenger a basic B, basically because it does everything at a basic level. This figure is actually the actual opposite. This is all show and no go. This is that figure that if you ask it to do anything besides look good, it's going to let you down. You can't really get in the poses. You can't really make it look alive. But it looks great in both modes. Everything about this figure screams kind of kitty to me. I think that this is the worst out the set. I think that, you know, the looks aside, because like they all look kitty, but like the transformation wasn't smooth. The articulation is good. The build is man. I just got this figure and it wasn't my cup of tea. So I'm not going to bash it. It just wasn't for me. Everything I said about the RC, you can kind of plus one to this. MP level sculpt, MP level paint. Articulation still needs a little more improvement, but the difference is here 3-0 gave you the accessories, extra hands. They gave you the accessories to make every version of the Prime, the cogless version, the cog version, and the final version. Like, 3-0 gets it, right? Like, for one purchase, you got everything you need instead of them trying to sell extra figures. Like, this is how you treat the consumer. Kudos to 3-0. Now improve that articulation and we'll have a home run. This is one of those classic kind of iconic molds, especially in legend scale. Like, it'll never disappoint you. It's always solid. It stands the test of time. It's what a good figure's supposed to be. You should be able to put it out in any generation and it still holds its own. And this still holds its own. I don't really know what to say about this figure. Onslaught's my favorite Combaticon, and it's an okay figure. I felt like this was probably the second worst out the set, but they started so high with Brawl, and then Swindle was a pig down, then this. I mean, like, it does everything it's supposed to do, but it doesn't do it at the level I want it to do it at. I guess that's the best way to say it. I feel bad for DX9 because they came back into this MP game and kind of found a different world. Like this figure in particular that would have been a really good figure 5 years ago, excellent 8 years ago, and mind-blowing 10 years ago. It's kind of right at that average Mendoza line, slightly below that line. And I don't know how DX9 survives. Maybe they survive being a budget brand to kind of what fans towards XTB and to a lesser extent MMC is doing. But I think if DX9 wants to stay around, they're going to have to evolve. Like, this is a good figure, but I guess the best way to describe it is like if you see a car on the road, like a 2005 Benz, it looks really clean, but it looks dated, but it's really clean, but it looks dated. You know how in sports they tell you if you master the fundamentals, it'll carry you a long way? Well, in the Transformers collecting game, if you master the fundamentals, it'll carry you a long way. And for fans towards, they've mastered the fundamentals: build, paint, sculpt, materials, and it carries them a long way. Like, this figure has limitations, but because they hit on the main fundamental things a figure should have, it carries this figure to the higher upper echelon of figures I bought this year. I understand why people want Magic Square in the MP game. Even though their products haven't really been for me, I do understand why people want them in the MP game. But they haven't made a complete figure yet. Like, I think Brawl is the best figure, but it had next level articulation. I think everything else has kind of been lacking in multiple ways, but I think that this is their closest attempt to putting it all together. Like, I think that, you know, the Ultra Tuner aesthetics aside, I can't hold that against them. I think that this kind of puts everything together and has made the definitive blast off. One of the things MNC knows how to do is make a drift, and this is no exception. I applaud them for doing this in the initial D line, kind of that reimagined G1 line. I applaud them for using the Infinite D lore fiction to tie this into it together. And I think it's always good when companies can work in their bag, and Drift is MMC's working in their bag. And when you get companies working in their bag, you get really great figures, and this is no exception. Oldie but goodie. I've bought this figure 3 times, and I don't have that much to say about it. I mean, you know the vibes about this figure by now, but the one thing I will say is I hope Giga Power comes back one day. This is that light at the end of the tunnel. This is why you get that special person chance after chance after chance. This is the payoff. If you've been riding with x-transbots for the past 10 or 12 years, this is the payoff for all the BS broken figures, poor paint that they've done in that time frame. They finally delivered a good, arguably great figure. And now the challenge is, once you do something good, getting them to consistently do it over and over again. Great figure. Spoiler alert, the next few are Giga Power. So I'm going to kind of talk about them as a whole in this part and talk about the individual figures as I get to them. I think Giga Power should come back. Like, they are the only ones to actually compete with fans toys, make the same product at the same price at the same time. And their product is just as good, if not better, than fans toys. This is no exception. And if fans toys is premium, this is like premium plus. This figure captures that me like to fight attitude Slag has. I think it's because of the size, because of the face sculpts. Like, he looks uber intimidating, and I love Giga Power for it. Just some more Giga Power goodness. I think that this is the one that Fans Toys is closest to, and that speaks more to how good the Fans Toys version is as to, and not anything negative about Giga Power, but this figure is a beast. I mean, it just is everything a sludge should be. This is the first time I got an x-transbots figure, and I thought it was premium. Most of their figures are below average, below quality, or a low quality figure with premium features. This is the first time I think the whole thing is considered a premium experience. Now, it's not perfect. The transformation needs some improvements, and you can tell they be in and over their head sometimes, but I would be lying if I didn't say this was an amazing top tier figure. The reason I separated this figure from its other Dinobot compatriots is because I feel like I love metallic paint and I love chrome, and I feel like this figure lends itself to pop more in those premium looks than the other ones do. It's almost like, hey, I'm David Ruffin, they're the Temptations. And in this case, I think that, hey, I'm Snarl, those are the Dinobots. And this figure represents the pinnacle of the premium experience Giga Power was trying to give. I don't have the original Scrapper mold. I only got this repaint, but I could say this. This is what's up from x-transbots. This is the figure that can compete with Fans Toys. Straight up, no filter. This is excellent work by them. Now the challenge is for them to keep this up. There's a certain sophistication and level of refinement to this figure. And when you compare it to the 1.0, it's like, oh yeah, it's decidedly better. But when you compare it to any figure I bought in 2025, it presents just as good as any figure. The action figure element of it is very underrated and surprisingly top tier. But I think the question is the sacrifice with an excruciating transformation worth that refinement? And the answer for me is, I really don't know. What I do know is that this is a top tier figure. With Galvatron, I said I didn't know if the transformation was worth the sacrifice for the refinement that you get. With this guy, it's 100% worth it. I think that what nobody talks about with Ironhide is the level of difficulty that this figure has. Like, to get the chest right, for it to be self-contained, a perfect transformation. I think nobody's giving Fans Toys enough credit for that. I understand the flaws, but to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs, and especially to get a really great omelet. Like, this is a really great figure. It took them forever and a day, but they gave you the best MP combiner ever. My wife came down and looked at my collection the other day, and she immediately focused on this and said, wow, that's amazing. And to get kudos from my wife said something. And not only did they give you a beautiful figure, they gave you customization, they gave you options. I think they took the MP experience and translated that over into a combiner, which I don't think anybody has done. And I think it's up for Fans Toys combiners from here on out. I hate giving non-transforming Transformers figure of the year, but it's hard to outdo Flames Toys when Flames Toys is doing Flames Toys thing. Out of all the figures I bought, the only thing that's even in this figure stratosphere is the Minosaur. And that figure has flaws. This figure really doesn't have any real flaws. Like, the biggest flaw is that it doesn't come with a minimus. Like, that's criminal. Besides that, the other flaws aren't specific to this figure. There's general Flames Toys criticisms, but outside of that, this figure is one of them ones. So yeah, that's a rundown of all the figures I bought this year. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to do a couple of superlatives and get out of here. First superlative, most disappointing, most surprisingly good. Yeah, my most disappointing is Unique Toys Red Destroyer. And it's so interesting because last year, their Red Dasher was my figure of the year. And these may not be mold mates, but they're very close together. And it's just show you how two different figures, even though similar, can be completely drastic. And my most surprisingly good figure is x-transbots Ballistic, their version of Misfire. And the best compliment I can give x-transbots in this figure is this feels like a Fans Toys figure. It's not perfect, but it's as close as Fans Toys as x-transbots has ever gotten. Next up is Company of the Year, and I got to give it to Fans Toys. I think Fans Toys righted kind of most of their wrongs by releasing Blitzwing and Minosaur. They're making progress on the Devastator, and they're still the most prolific company making figures that kind of stay at that Fans Toys standard, that sculpt, bale, paint, material standard that they've set for themselves. And it's so easy to fall off in that respect, and they haven't done that. And the final thing is the collecting grade I would give 2025, and I would give it a B+. I think the Fans Toys filling in the gaps in that catalog, x-transbots stepping up another level with their Constructicons and their Misfire, MMC completing the Defensor this year, Magic Square finishing the Bruticus, even though I think it sucks. I think you got Dreamstar Toys. I think you got Flames Toys, 3-0 doing good stuff. DX9 back in the game. Robeson, Hasbro doing some good things. I think that overall this was a really successful year to be a Transformers collector. Let me know what figure stood out to you. And as always, thank you guys. And I hope you have a happy new year.